Roll call.
Okay, Costero. Here. Chandler. Here. Karen.
Here.
Jack. Oh, I'm sorry, Mark.
Here.
Jack, Bertel.
Here.
Hewitt.
Here.
All right, please stand for the prayer. Make sure your phones are on silent. Let us pray, Lord, that we who serve your people have your blessing and guidance for our deliberations and decisions, so that what we accomplish here this evening be just and beneficial to the people of our service. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Tammy, you're going to have to get with Jaggers or somebody. And I mean, I know I emphasize it every week or every meeting about the minutes.
I know you do.
We need to really, and I'll get on Jaggers too, to tell him that, I mean, if you need help, you need help, but we have to have these meetings every meeting. I mean,
He told me today, you're not coming tonight? No, I didn't have going on,
so, I mean, I don't, we really have to get to the bottom of this. So, with this, any petitions, any communications?
Why do you guys want to come over here and sit so you're not quite so awkward about it? Okay.
Okay, Board of Officers, I'll let Bob start and give you a report.
Yeah, we're starting that storm sewer separation, so you'll see some roads get tore up a little bit as we go along. So I just want to let you know, right now they're over by Glass Chalks in that area. They're going to be starting over there. That's where their laydown area is going to be also. We have 818 meters installed. The grant, I notified the state we should get the last draw on that grant. We should get about $7,000. We should get the whole $7,716 back. I contacted the health board. I handed you out a policy here that I just roughly drafted up. Okay, I'm not going to discuss it in here. You guys need to take it home, or else take a look at it, add to it, whatever you want to do. I don't make policy. I carry out policy. You guys make the policy. So there's some things on there that I just threw on there. Right now, that COVID Act is not in place. It expired the 31st of December. So, and they have not renewed it, as far as I know. I called the health department, they told me they haven't seen it's been renewed or nothing. So I'm sure there's probably going to be some more COVID money coming down sooner or later, but at this point in time, we don't have it. So actually, you could get 80 hours of paid sick leave through the COVID Act. That's no longer in place. So we'll have to see what they come down with this new administration coming in. We'll see what happens. There is a laydown area which I just talked about over on Murdoch. The lake water bills do the postal service. Here in one in Pittsburgh, it's just terrible. That's what I'm hearing. Only 2 sections of our bills got sent out, and then they were a week late. We were even a little bit earlier this time. We got ours in. They didn't get theirs out. So,
I have a question about that. Are we charging our people late fees then if that's happening?
I usually tell them that they got a grace period no matter what. Okay, we do give them a grace period. I haven't addressed that though, so I might have to address that for sure to make sure that they know.
While we're talking about this, I want to talk about the one line coming into the water office, and that's it. That is so antiquated and so,
Yeah.
we need another
Well, if you
line.
want a major overhaul in that, Mr. Fitzgerald, we can do that, okay? But it's gonna cost us about 10 grand, I think, at least, minimum. I will have Comcast come in here, I will have them give us a price, because they did this before, this was the third time.
Wow.
It is very expensive to do, to override that line, get new lines put in this building.
What, how about like a voice message machine, something? I mean-
They told me they could not do anything about that line.
Really?
That's what they told me. I will have them contacted again tomorrow to come in here. I know that the number that they threw at me, I just looked at them and said, we will live with it. Now, how many people do you got? I mean, is there 4 or 5 people? Are they calling you about this line?
Yeah, I got interrupted 5 times that day. But
What?
it's not the first time.
Well,
And-
I understand that, but I mean, do I want to spend 10 grand to fix that line?
Not really, but we should have the ability to put somebody on hold, and we should have the ability to pick up a second line, or have one of the other offices be able to pick it up. And if we can't do
We
that.
can't even transfer between offices with the new system.
Okay, let me ask you this. Can Denise run a report for a water report that shows what bill everybody, the amount?
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Then why, when we have something special like this happen, can't we send a copy of that report to Judy, send a copy of that report to Kim? And when Wayne makes his letter, you can call 1072, you can call Kim's
What-
extension, or you can call
What was
Judy's
the
extension.
problem? What
The
were they
problem
calling,
is that
what were
when
they
you-
calling about?
Their
Water
bills.
bills, to get their,
Oh,
how much
the
they
bills.
owe us.
Oh, okay.
And, with Denise being on the phone with the vendor for 2 hours, I mean, imagine, because I know if it was me and I'm down for 2 hours and I either get hung up on or I get a recording that I forget what they told me the recording says, regardless, I'd be getting upset.
Well, I call and I do the same thing that you get.
Right, and then you have,
I know what's happening.
100
I
people
understand.
calling and trying to get through to be able to pay their bill. And I would also suggest that we give Wayne a copy of this billing, and we use the plant and let people call down there. I told Wayne, I was like, they're telling me that this number's not working. What am I supposed to give them? And so a couple of them, I actually told them to call down the plant, because I figured at the end of the day, the guys could come up and give Denise a message that Joe Schmo called, and here's his phone number.
Well, we can
And you
definitely,
can call back.
like I said, I'm not gonna argue that you're wrong as far as,
Right.
with this line. But when I saw the price that they tried to give me, I just said no, but I will look into it one more time. Maybe we can get somebody else in here, because we had a good system in here prior to us being here.
Instead of a
somebody-
landline,
Huh?
instead of a landline, can't we just add a cell phone line? That's like an extra $5 a month on most plans, $5 or $10.
Well, I'll ask them what we
It'll have
can
its
do.
own designated number.
Anything that we can do to
Yeah.
alleviate
But like I
this,
said,
we
if
can
it
do
comes
it.
down to it, and we need to run reports, and when we
That ain't a bad idea.
notify
cell
the
phone
public,
That ain't a bad idea. You might want to just put a cell phone line on it.
that would work.
You know,
We need
if they could
something.
just put a cell phone in here.
Yeah.
That might not be a bad idea. I'll just give Denise a cell phone. I'm sure she'd appreciate
Well, I
that.
told her, I will not do business on my personal cell phone. And everybody has their cell phone, from Wayne to Drew to
Yeah,
T.
well,
Everybody has their, I said, "That's your cell phone."
Back to
They
it.
text her constantly, and I says, ask Village for a phone.
Yeah.
I mean, she's using her personal phone for all this stuff here.
Right.
She's answering the phone, she's doing
Shouldn't
that
have to do
there.
that. Yeah.
She's on an unlimited plan. She
I
ain't
said,
paying anymore.
I said, I told her, I said, I wouldn't answer the phone.
You don't. You want that call. Anyhow, that's not a bad idea, and we will look into it again, because it is very frustrating, I will admit. Because when I call down there, I get the same thing. I know what it is, I know what it is. But like I said, Comcast, it seemed like they could not do anything for me at all. And if I'm here another couple of years, I don't think Comcast will be for a couple of years, I'll be honest with you. I'm fed up with them, even with our surveillance
They
stuff.
have our cameras and stuff.
Yeah. So, okay, when they fixed 3 water line breaks, they did a very good job on McClister, because if they wouldn't have, they would have had my wrath. Because that's a brand new road up there, and they really cut that, it really looks really good, so. Yeah. You got another water customer. I'm not wild about this customer because he's down where I grew up, and there's tankers that run up and down that road like crazy. But it's gonna benefit us because they're gonna take probably 15,000 gallons a day. That's what they're estimating. They just put a 4-inch line down there. But it's down where the old beer distributor is at. I mean, if you ever go down there and see all them tankers down there, I just hope that road, they just did that road. They just did that road.
Bob, they moved into one of the old Iron City
Yeah, the
buildings,
one,
is what
actually
you're
the old
saying?
one, the first one, yeah.
Okay.
We ordered 200 ton of salt. We had a bunch of salt left over. I only put in for 300 ton this year. We may have to get more. Mr. Baker will attest that you get these little snow squalls and stuff like that, you go through 50 ton in a heartbeat, don't you? Doesn't take a long time. So I ordered 300 ton. We've got 200 ton in right now. I got 100 ton still in reserve. But I thought we was going to have a bad year, and it started out, hasn't been the greatest, okay? Because we got more snow than we had for a long time, actually.
That's a good
But,
thing.
yeah, so we will see. If I have to go over that, I already got permission from them to go over my allotment. So, we'll be ready for it. Like I said, I put this together, this plan as far as this COVID, take it home, take a look at it. I guess, like I've stated before, I don't make policy here, you guys do. So you take a look at this and see what you like, what you don't like, put in anything you want. At this point in time, though, there is no COVID money to cover people. They either have to use their leave, their vacations, sick leave, personal days. There is nothing to cover them at this point in time. Or like you could grant them administrative leave without pay. I mean, if there's somebody that doesn't have that much leave built up, and they get this, and they only have 5 days, well, they're going to have to, they're not going to get paid for 5 days. They only have 5 days built up, and they got to quarantine for 10. I mean, I don't like it.
They probably could file for unemployment or a short-term disability.
You ain't file for unemployment, we don't you have to
You have a
also-
waiting week for
Well, you get your
unemployment,
waiting,
don't you?
you get your waiting weekend, you can file for unemployment.
Okay. Well, anything that we can do to help our employees, we'll do it. I mean, I think that that's pretty much an agreement in here that, we don't want to, we don't want these guys to go without any pay, that's for sure. And, and if they're essential personnel, we're going to follow the guidelines that the county comes down with, mostly with the police department and fire department. We don't have that many essential personnel in the service and water. We do have some in water. But, they would probably just tell you to come here, wear a mask, stay 6 feet away, have, the least encounter with another human being, and hold, the whole 9 yards. But you can come to work as long as you're asymptomatic. So, something like that, the guidelines will come down. So that's really all I have.
One thing you might keep in mind about that is, I think all of since both chiefs are here and you're here, I think you should encourage your employees, don't run through your vacation and your personal days and your sick time as fast as you can, because you really have enough to cover almost any situation if you don't use it all up by February. Everybody's got a couple weeks vacation. Everybody's got X number of personal days, whatever sick leave, you would accumulate. So, you should not be put in that situation if you're careful. If you accumulate a little bit of time, understanding what you have.
Well, with me, I asked work, I had to use a vacation. I says, I don't want to use nothing, don't pay me. We can't do that. We can't do that.
So we can do that where I'm at. I think you just tell them, just don't pay it. They do it. They do it for us.
I mean, isn't our policy now, if you run out sick time, we go right into their vacation time anyway right now?
I don't know exactly what the policy is
That's how it
as far as, they had to use it.
Like say-
We've got probably go from sick to personal to vacation, I would think.
Right.
Yeah, sick leave would be
We had
first.
employees before that actually went to the mines and were sick, and then they went right into vacation, and just like you said, the personal. Not that there's any go in the mines when we
Yeah.
started past
And
that.
I think, that's why I think it's important that just the employees recognize, protect yourself a little bit. Make sure you save some of that time.
But the bad thing is our part-time employees, they don't get like the full-time employees.
No, they get a week's vacation.
Actually, they would get something with this, you know, if that goes back into effect, your part-timers will get something also.
Well, if this goes back into effect, yeah, that really isn't.
Yeah, they do get, part-timers do get vacation, you know, they go time. Okay. You know, I'm just, you know, I'm just hoping we get through this without, you know, hurting these guys out there. But the biggest issue I have is somebody just comes and says, hey, I was around somebody that had COVID. That's tough to prove. That's the
Contact
tough.
tracing you're talking about?
No, I mean, it's just like if they just come into your supervisor and say, hey, such and such has COVID and I was with them. That's the toughest one to prove or whatever else, you know. I'm hoping our employees don't try to play that game, okay? But,
Well, especially if they're not going to get paid for it or have to use their.
well,
their
but
vacation.
if this is in place and you can get 80 hours, that's awful tempting, you know, awful tempting. I got a feeling they're gonna come back with something. They're gonna come
How
up
long
with
do
something.
you wait for them to go get tested? 4 days? 5 days?
I don't know what the policy is as far as that, and that's something that you guys might need to talk about, you know, okay? How many days do you wait? If they come in and say, you know, hey, you know, I was around somebody, I feel they should immediately go get tested,
You
honestly.
know, I will tell you, that only because that happened to me.
I know, and it doesn't come up, it can come up
And
negative.
my brother works at Trident, and he's the one who came down sick, and then he said, he called his employer, and they told him to wait 5 days, go get tested, because a lot of times it doesn't show right.
Yeah, you're right, it
So wait
doesn't.
5 days, then go get tested.
Trust me, I know, I went got tested, I should
Yeah,
never got
so,
tested.
yeah, exactly, so and I did the same
Unless
thing,
it's
so.
golf out.
So if we're talking about guys that are gonna get 5 days free,
Yeah,
yeah, we need to, yeah.
I didn't want to think anybody that was older than me that I was riding with, Jack. Anyhow.
You getting tested when you're still asymptomatic?
Yeah, well, I was around, well, I think it was Willie that I shook hands with when I came down. I think the Andriano guy had it, and I just, that was one, and I just said, okay. He was exposed, and I just went and told him, and they even told me, I said, really, you don't have to get tested. I said, okay, well, I'd rather do it, because
Your employees
I
will
was,
tell you you don't have to get tested, but they recommend it.
yeah, I was going with some older folks that next couple of days, and I would have never forgiven myself if I did have it or whatever else, even though it could come out false anyhow.
Yeah.
You know, it could give me a false negative. That's all I have.
I know you forgot to mention this, but on the last couple snows we've had 3 employees, same 3 come out and salted the roads. It was the same thing. We don't have nobody who goes out, and that's why somebody complained about a road one night after midnight on Christmas Eve. I said, you got, name 3 guys who go out and salt the roads, and they did that for the job.
And he calls, you know,
There's nobody else qualified, or nobody else wants to do it. So, and I asked them, I said, why are you 3 guys are the only one coming out? Nobody else wants to. Nobody's qualified.
everybody's called. I mean, you know, the ones that are there. And Mark, I'm glad you mentioned something like this, because, you know, we had an individual talk about being an operator. Now, I will not put an operator sitting up there to load trucks. You know, we never did that before, and I'm not doing it now.
Back in the day, they did, but then we eliminated it.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
every driver should be able to operate that equipment.
That's
I
it,
used
and
to
if they
load my
can't-
own trucks and everything else.
That's right, if they can't, Timmy can come up there, and, I mean, he's usually the one out, you know, and he can go load them up. I'm not gonna have an operator sitting up there 8 hours, waiting for a truck to come back there to get filled up with salt. That's not gonna do it.
I have a question about the same 3 guys that are always doing that. Now, I know you do it by rotation, who has this most senior, but if you have 8 guys that are most senior and they're turning it down, basically, is that what's happening? And then you're going back to the same 3 guys?
That's
that
what
are-
they're rotating it. If they weren't, trust me, you'd have a grievance in front of you.
But this is my next thing. If they are continually turning it down, is there something, I don't know if they're still doing negotiations or not, that you can implement something in there or talk with the union about, this is what's going on, and we need to address this because we still have the same same
You
three
really
guys.
can't force somebody out from home.
I understand that, but you
State
can,
emergency only.
You can force somebody.
I know where you're going with this, and I think it's something good, because what you're trying to say is, they can pick and choose when they're gonna come out.
right.
And they're not, but I think there is something there, Mark, like if you turn it down,
You get charged.
you get charged for it.
That's exactly.
You do get charged.
That's exactly what I
You
meant.
get charged, so they are charged.
And even though they're getting charged, it's still going back to the people coming back out of work again last night because they're gonna refuse it and not answer their phone.
Yeah.
So you're still back to the three same guys who are gonna come out.
Okay, let me, this, something else. During, are you done with negotiations? Still?
Nothing started yet.
Oh, okay, you know, during negotiations, I don't know if you brought this up at all, but I think something has to be able to be worked out where these guys are losing money by not turning this, by constantly being this way. There's gotta be something that you should work out, because I think any union member is gonna wanna be fair to their brothers, I would hope. And see if there's something that, okay, if I continue to say no, is there some way you could work in with the contract that this is what's going on? You don't think they would work with you on that? That's a shame.
I mean, you could take it if you want, if you don't want, you don't take it, simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's just a shame that the same three guys, you know, are.
A lot more short people too.
Yeah, we
We're
are.
short people,
Yeah.
you know. And,
Back in the day, you
some
said
guys
more
are-
people up there,
they're just,
service
very-
departments.
Them small trucks aren't easy to rent, operate.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, there's guys literally going through Small Street, this here, and, you know, so that's a problem too. So, but on another note, you know they are cleaning that road down there by, the diner, they got a sweeper down there back.
Right kind of slaggy on the road.
Well, they've been cleaning down there every day, they got some sweeper.
There was a lot of them here today.
You were talking about that bill entrance, I'm talking down by the diner. They got, that company has a sweeper now that comes in, they sweep for it.
We've been on that for a long time.
I've seen, I know where you're
I was
talking.
there by the time, the one I saw.
Oh, no, up there's one by, there was a still by the gate today.
Speaking of sweepers, can we start using our own sweeper? I know when it's cold, you can't use it.
You know, it's funny you say, but then I wanted to talk to Bob, that maybe budget-wise, we can look to invest in a sweeper.
We've been looking for a used or something.
It'd be nice if you get one that would suck the leaves up too.
Yeah,
You know,
this one
that one we
doesn't.
used to have it at the pipe in the back, and we had a bar on it, we go
Yeah.
right by that catch basin and suck it up. We break them banks and we just suck it right
I
out.
remember when that was there.
My understanding is this sweeper doesn't even suck up.
Yeah, it's,
I mean, it doesn't even, I mean, it's not even made to suck up.
when you see one operate, you'll see big clumps of rock behind. and
Yeah,
stuff.
I just can't believe that we actually
It's
got one of those sweepers like that.
It's really good for fine stuff, but not the heavy stuff.
I talked to Timmy probably a year and a half ago about looking at one of those. They're very expensive, but I'd like to have one. If we can budget it.
Well, keep our good streets
Yeah.
good too. I mean, you look at South Commercial right now, they start to look like the old South
Yeah.
Commercial line we burned down from all the trucks and stuff. And it also helps with our sewers.
Well, I know it helps with our source sucking that stuff out, you know, that, like I said, getting all the debris out of them, you know.
And water flow. You get a big snow and then a big heat up, where's that water gonna go? If them catch basins ain't working, they're gonna go right around in problems. The streets, a good streets is basically.
Yeah, I mean, you brought that up, but I do want to sit down and talk to him and talk to you guys about maybe budgeting something for that. You know, which maybe by next spring we will look into it. Okay, Ernie, you have anything?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, Mr. McKenzie, Chief McKenzie, where you at?
I'm over.
You have anything to report? How's things going? You got any updates on anything?
Things are going well with the department.
How's your vehicles running?
Vehicles are running pretty good. Hopefully, we do look to get a new cruiser, if we can soon. Looking at getting some grants, looking at grants for a cruiser, so hopefully we'll get some.
Looking for all the grants, and I know you showed me them radios the other day, they look pretty good, you guys have now.
Yeah, we got everything in, the wireless and other
Yeah.
areas that working really well.
They are working pretty good.
Yes.
You guys are, Michael, you satisfied with them?
Yep.
Good. Anything else?
That's it.
Yes?
For Chief, our other guy that's off, when's he coming back?
I just talked to him, he was just upstairs. He advised that maybe in February that he would be back. Maybe. But he's not for sure. He advised he has to speak with his doctor and do a follow with the doctor and he'll find out then whenever he's coming back.
February.
He did come back for a little bit on light duty, where he cleaned files out, did some stuff there, but I think he agitated it again, or what have you, so.
Second question, and this might be offensive to you, or whoever. How's come our crews are set outside and run for hours?
I did address that, the mayor addressed it with me and I addressed it with the guys.
I mean, they're just, the lights are on, and the cruiser's running, and they're locked, and no one's around. And, I mean, that's
I'll stick up for Willie on that, Jack. It's not for hours. I told him, you let him run for 10 minutes, and he's not, I told him a long time ago about that. And I asked him again yesterday.
Never mind.
I mean, it's not for hours.
Bob, I was
All right, time clock on next time. Come on, man, keep trying, they run out there.
I mean, why? I mean, what is
I
it?
don't know. I don't know why they're
I mean,
running.
I just asked me, why is it bothering you?
How come we keep,
I'm just asking you.
how come we keep replacing engines in these things?
Engines.
Motors, yeah, look at the cruisers.
When's the last time we replaced an engine in a cruiser?
How many cruisers we need in this town?
I mean, we need,
Huh?
I mean, we need
Yeah,
3.
3. Okay. Sorry.
No, that was addressed.
Okay. I just thought I'd bring it up, that's all.
Willie knows and Mike knows, and the other guys know. Brandon, you got anything?
Yeah, calls for last year, 2019, we ended up with 1,008 calls. Total billing, once I got it straightened around, 131,801.33. We projected only 110,000, so we did have a surplus in billing. Calls so far to date, it's only the 12th, and we've already, for 48 calls so far for the year. I've already wrote a check to Kim so far this year of $10,464.97. So the billing is definitely increased. Got that on the straight around. I do a conference call at MCA 3 times a week. So to get all that straight around. With those calls being said, COVID is in town, like I said before. It's hitting the elderly population pretty hard in the town. I've had multiple cardiac arrests. Unfortunately, it's what's happening. Post-COVID, I've flown multiple strokes so far. The elderly, once they're post-COVID, we're seeing a lot of strokes, blood clots, PEs, cardiac arrhythmias, where they've had no cardiac history at all. So COVID is taking a toll. Besides COVID itself, there's factors behind that now that we're seeing. So the Lucas devices, the thumpers, I call them, definitely been put to use the past couple weeks. We have transported a couple residents to and from hospitals back home. Since they're Mingo residents, I have done that service to them. When it comes to COVID, I'm going to bring it up, I do have a part-timer who has tested positive. She is off right now. She's not allowed to come to work because she is symptomatic. So how do I go about paying her?
Part-timer?
She is a part-timer, yes. If a part-timer on the fire department works 900 hours a year, they get a week's vacation. She started in September. She don't have vacation. We're middle of the pay period. Do I pay her or I don't pay her?
What do you think?
It's up to you guys, what you want to do, because there's
Instead of
no,
watching Pandora's box here.
right now, there's no obligation to pay. I don't know what you may have accumulated or anything like that. You might be able to do something with an advance on vacation. Something she's going to get, that she can use the whole week, even if she hasn't accumulated a week, but that's pretty much where you're at since you don't have the funds anymore. So it's kind of going to be, it's kind of in your hands.
I No, we
That
use it.
second round or that
Yeah.
last round we got?
I'm pretty sure we used everything up. I'm almost 99% sure we used everything up.
Brandon, what kind of figure are we talking about?
She has 4 days this week, 32 hours.
And we give her a minus, like, I mean, I've seen other employees ran out of vacation,
That's what they're talking
ran
about.
out of sick, and then they gave them minus. What that means is, whatever the union in that category gets per, pay period.
She's part-time though, she's not union. So it doesn't matter if she gets a week, that's what Ernie was just saying. To take that week and give it to her basically so she can pay, but then she's already used it up. Like I said, if this code was extended, she could get 2 weeks actually.
We're sure?
Well, I tell you what I read,
Because I know they
80
did-
hours, this is what it said, up to 2 weeks, 80 hours for a part-time employee's 2-week equivalent. So that's 2-week equivalent is 80 hours. I mean, it would be 80, probably be 60 some hours. Right off the handout. So they would get something like that.
So what you're saying, though, the new CARES Act that they just passed,
No,
what, last
no.
week, there's been nothing.
I haven't heard anything coming down for anything that was passed last week.
There was a new CARES Act.
Well, I tell you what, nobody knows about it.
What was passed was passed back.
We're talking about the stimulus money coming out.
Yeah, so that goes back into December.
At the very end.
Yeah, towards the end of the year, but I know that the checks were in there, but I don't know that anything else was.
I don't have any information that they extended that. Matter of fact, I called today, Jefferson County, the auditor. I called the auditor today, and I said, did they extend this? She said, they have not extended this. It expired the 31st of December 2020.
So that's the PPE portion.
I don't know what
Is that what that's?
Well, it was the first coronavirus response act. That's what it was called. The Family's First Coronavirus Response Act. That's what we were looking at. Trust me, if there's anything from town, we're gonna take care of it.
The employee has not accrued enough time to cover the time off from work they could be granted administrative without pay.
That's what I put in there. This is all of my opinion, folks. This is me trying to write a policy for you. You gotta write the policy. This is just giving you something to start with.
I mean, she's not looking to go anywhere, so I mean, by next August, she's gonna meet that 900 hours. So I mean, I can use her vacation, and she'll just have a vacation day left.
And you can use your vacation, and then all of a sudden, if we get something fast, then go back and
Correct her back.
At least that's the way I would look at it.
I mean, she's on the schedule, this week she has 32 hours, she gets 40 hours, charge her 32 hours. She has 1 vacation day left after August. If something happens, she'll just get it back.
I just don't want to treat somebody differently, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I wanted to ask, like.
I understand, I just don't want to treat somebody differently, and all of a sudden we have a problem. I want everybody to be treated equal.
That's why it's important to make the correct decision, at least a well-informed decision up front in the
Yeah.
first case, because what we do this time, when we look at
Well,
the
that's it.
precedent,
It's definitely going to set a precedent, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
As far as the COVID vaccine goes, my personnel, 7 of us received the first initial Moderna vaccine. We got it on the 23rd of December. We'll get the second dose at the end of this month. There's 7 of us.
Do your part-timers do?
The vaccine,
Has it been refused?
it was offered to them.
it was offered,
Whether they could-
7 got it out of 25 personnel.
So how many they refused?
Probably county.
Yeah, they're electing not to get it at this point. There's gonna be another round to the first responders, I'd say within the next, a month or two, for the people who are like eerie about it, so. 7 of us got it. As far as the squad, our new squads at Burgess, apparently it's been having a death wobble. They kept telling John and Ray Hall that it was Ford issue. I think he was taking Team Ford here multiple times, and you just couldn't. You drive it, it would just sweat all over the road. I called Burgess, they gave me the runaround. Finally, I told them, listen, if you don't fix the issue, that ambulance will be on flatbed in your parking lot by the end of this week at your expense, and I don't want it back.
That's the new one.
Yeah. I said,
I'm
I'm
gonna
not.
wobble up in the front.
Yeah. So I said, he says, well, it's a Ford issue. I said, okay. I said, my lights in the back patient compartment are not working. I'm having electrical issues again. Well, he goes, well, take a flashlight. I said, I'm not taking a flashlight. It's a year-old ambulance. I said, you're gonna come get it. Well, I said, it will be on a flatbed in your parking lot by the end of this week. Next day, the owner was down, picked the ambulance up. They will fix all issues with that ambulance. So he told me, he was like, I was like, I'm gonna be looking at purchasing another ambulance. He said, well, that's automatically coming to me. I said, no, it's not.
No, it ain't.
He said, well, that was the agreement. I said, there's no signed agreement. You don't fix my issues, I'm not purchasing another ambulance through you again. So they picked it up personally, drove it up to Mansfield. So they're now being worked on. The Ford issue being taken care of by their Ford dealer and everything else. So
He's just giving us reasons, he's low bid to not take it.
So that's being taken care of.
Yeah, because he secures that next one from us, and then if there's any problem with that, he's gonna say, hey, sorry, running around.
No, we're just, like I said, he just gave us the ammunition, he has to.
So,
There's no bids.
yeah,
There's no bids.
Oh, there's no bids on it?
Is this supposed to be state purchasing? There is no bidding.
Oh, it's all state purchase, oh.
Yes.
So,
Oh, yeah, they are guaranteed that at the state purchase.
So they picked it up and took care of it. I should have it back in the next couple of days. Saturday morning, we found out that the ambulance, second ambulance, the tire was flat. I caught a hold of the mayor and talked to Jack real quick. I'd have Ferguson come over, do an emergency change out. So that's gonna cost us some money. So that was taken care of. So we had an ambulance in service. With that being said, I know we have the levy on. We're probably gonna need to look at, possibly purchasing the other one probably by the end of the year. The chassis go up 20% every year. So, I mean, things do go up heavily every year, so.
That state purchasing, they go out and get those contracts every year also, don't they, Jack? Don't they have to redo them?
I can go to McCoy Miller.
Unless you want to.
I can pick different vendors.
No, there's actually, you can go anywhere you want, I'm saying, those state purchasing contracts, they buy those state purchasing, I mean, they bid on those state purchasing contracts. So he may not even have it next year.
Right, he might not.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying, it's not guaranteed.
But there's no bids, though.
Huh?
State purchasing.
I know there's no bids, I understand that. You gotta go through
You
those
go
people.
where state purchasing.
If you don't go through those people, then you do take them out to bid.
Yes.
Learn that lesson hard.
But through the 4 or 5 months I've been chief, we're back in good gracious with MCA, our billing company. We're back in good gracious with the State Fire Marshal's office. All the reporting's been taken care of. The Department of Commerce, been on the phone. I'm on the phone weekly conferences with the state, local health department, CDC, getting information on the vaccine rollout. It's going to be eventually phase 1B and down for everybody else. So working with the county and things on that, and how we're going to distribute that. But everything seems to be going very well. Talked to the mayor about hiring. I'll let him discuss that. But it's been busy time in the fire department right now. So.
Yeah, just to update you on that, I met with Randy yesterday, and we're in the process of hiring somebody, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And, so that was taken care of. Had a meeting with Louis yesterday. We talked over some things, which is good. Be in the process, they're a shorter guy too. So there's a lot of business coming up in the next couple of months.
We need 2 good fire department, don't we?
1, 2, right?
Contracts, 2,
2.
5 guys.
I'll bring you with you this week again. Yes.
I just wanted to commend both Lily and Brandon and the whole departments themselves for the Santa Parade, for you guys going around and giving some underprivileged kids some pride. I mean, the response was so positive and so nice, and I just want to say kudos to those departments for doing that and spending the time doing that and all the legwork and stuff that he's had to do to get that done, and it was much appreciated in the town.
keep it COVID friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice there. Had a lot of compliments myself. Again, Paul, you have anything, water sewage? Water and
So there's
sewage?
nothing, nothing pressing.
Okay, IT I've had an IT report for a while. I know Tammy said that you're not gonna have to get a call up here. And in my office, I got a 1910 computer in there. I'm just telling Brandon yesterday. This thing must have been here with 10 selections in here. So,
This is long ago.
yeah. So that there, anything on finance, or others not here, any councilman?
I do have a question. Can you tell me how much was transferred at the end of the year meeting to the fire department? I didn't hear that number. I'm just curious.
Right here. You all look at it? Did you get one of these?
There was nothing in my mailbox.
She wasn't there.
Huh?
She wasn't there.
I know she wasn't here, but there should have been one in her
There
mailbox.
was nothing in my mailbox. 'Cause I
These are only in your transfers.
That's when you had the meeting on the 28th, right?
Yeah, there was nothing in my mailbox.
Okay. After it costs me, you make a copy, give it back to me, okay?
I get one here.
Are you guys working on it?
Were you here the 28th?
Huh?
Pat called in.
Yeah, you had it.
Everybody was here, had this.
Were you here, 28th of December?
Yeah, he was here.
Finance meeting.
He was,
Chance for months. I know.
I thought it was next day. Thank you. That's longer than that. That's why I came here. That's
All
longer.
right, well, see you tomorrow.
We're gonna hold together.
I'll just make some copies for Jack's.
Okay. Let's move on. Anything on ordinance?
All it is a temporary appropriation, just let you spend money between taxes. As for routine, it's the same numbers that we used last year, with the pricing we used for tankers. And all it does is just gives employees before you can spend like the payrolls and that kind of stuff, otherwise you can't spend anything.
So, we have a motion.
For suspending the rules.
Go ahead.
Mayor, I move that a rule requiring an ordinance to be read on 3 separate occasions be dispensed with, and ordinance 2021-1 be given its second and final reading today, and put forth before the council for final passage or rejection. I think that's how it goes. Something like that.
I'm wondering if you would memorize it.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Second.
Second. Yeah.
Randall? Harris?
Yes.
Baker?
yes.
Martell?
Yes.
Wheeler?
Yes.
Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-1, an ordinance to make temporary appropriations to provide for the operation of the municipal departments of the Village of Mingo Junction, Ohio, for the period from January 1, 2021 through March 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency. Ordinance 2021-1, an ordinance to make temporary appropriations to provide for the operation of the municipal departments of the Village of Mingo Junction, Ohio for the period from January 1, 2021 through March 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency.
Jack?
I move that ordinance number 2021-1 be adopted this time.
Second.
Aaron,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Hewer,
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Cramblett.
2021 is adopted. That's any orders we had? Mr. Harris, anything on safety?
No, I've been driving around town every day. Haven't seen anything out of line.
Julie, anything on service? Yeah.
Real quick back on safety, I know we talked about getting those no parking the side signs for up on Longview and different areas. I don't know.
I know they were ordered, I don't know if they're in, but I got a feeling they're probably not sure. I know they were ordered.
Okay. Yeah.
We had a small truck that couldn't get through on the lanes up there,
Yeah.
so I just want to let you know.
Go back to Brandon and I talked to you yesterday about the church that you're tearing down. Did you say you talked to that guy?
Yeah, they're gonna start taking out my truckloads. So the fence was taken down and,
One by the high school?
yeah.
Well, I talked to him, I just keep hearing that the contractor left me, that it'd be a big one, and they left me.
Well, they took the fence down. That's not, yeah.
Then they never went to
What
anybody.
he told me yesterday, they were taking out truck.
Well, they can't, if they put the fence down, they're wrong, I mean, they gotta get that out of there. Because
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's a danger now.
It's the same person, right?
Mayor,
Yes.
up on St. Clair Avenue, 400 block, 500 block, there's a wall that's laying on our sidewalk. They haven't touched it, it's still laying there.
I said we call a realtor.
Pardon?
We'll call a realtor.
I don't know who.
It's up for sale, is that the one for sale?
Yeah.
On the corner.
Say, hey, you know, get us down there, get something, they'll take care of it, they're listening to it.
Well, it's, blocking our sidewalk.
I saw it.
Okay.
I don't know, I mean, I would think that, the realtor would be the first place we would start. We're trying to find out. Start with you, Brandon, but hey, it's one to you, so.
You want that?
Yeah, it's right at the.
So you go across the bridge?
Yeah, right across the bridge.
Brandon, keep lining people up on Eleanor too. That place that has like the truck outside, and I know that if they got cars parked, they have to have license plates that are basically, well, let's say valid, right?
Correct. On Eleanor?
Pretty sure it's Eleanor, not very like 3 or 4 houses back from.
Like 102 or something like that, right next to Schultz's old house.
Big truck.
I feel sorry for the.
Schultz's. Might be 102.
Well, here's another thing, not to interrupt, but, me and Willie talked about yesterday. I think Pete checked the ordinance out. He would like to start delivering letters to people with abandoned wrecked cars on their properties.
We have those things,
And he wants to start delivering letters or give these people, the police or fire can do it, right? I mean, he has to, we just start doing that.
From what I know, he has to write them up. If it's on private property, he has to write them up. He can deliver them.
Okay.
If
Okay.
it's on the street, it's his.
On the street and on
Yes.
property, but.
Right, Arnie?
Yeah.
On private property, it belongs to private property. He can write them up, he can deliver them.
I got tires over there, everything, it's a mess. I just feel sorry for the people.
Now, we've got a lot of places in town like that, not just one or two.
But I mean, these guys, and I'll give them credit, I mean, they're out there busting their tails. Police, fire, they're doing a lot of good things. And the people are really satisfied. Those two. Okay, Adam, anything on street lights, curb, sidewalks?
No report there.
South St. Clair, right?
Yeah, except for the wall blocking on St. Clair, but he'll call the realtor and start that process, I guess.
Mr. Portillo, anything on water and sewage?
No, Mayor, nothing this time.
Anything on recreation?
Yes, I do have a couple things. I've been getting some phone calls from some people. They're looking for maybe put bocce court back in the park, in a horseshoe pit in the park. So it's going to take some money. I had Timmy up there looking at the old shelter house, the one that's got the 4 walls.
Yeah.
We might go back in there for bocce court. There's too many problems up above. Too many problems going on. But we have there's probably 20 of us that play bocce. And, you know, same with horseshoes.
I think we need to look at the way this year, not spend a lot of money there. I think we need to look at doing something, because I think that equipment's going to, even the playground equipment, we're going to have to take a hard look at, because it's aging. So, I think we need to look to put some money down there to do something. I told you I wanted to put another shelter house up, if at all possible.
You gotta go to KC.
Well, I still want to go, I want to still want to watch it, but that doesn't bother me at all. I just think we just need to, if we can afford it, I think we need to do something. So we lost the one shelter house on the top, and we can put a very nice shelter house down by the playground, where the basketball court stuff is at. Easy to get to, and a lot of parking, and we could really make it nice for there. It would take some money.
Do you think we can get the Jefferson County grant again this year, or?
I don't know, I got it all last year. So,
This year.
yeah, I didn't know. I got it all last year, so I don't know. I'll give it a shot, that's for sure.
The MRC got a grant one year, and it was through, I think it was like Huntington Bank or something, but Craig.
Chris?
Yeah. No, it's through Greasy, that's what it was.
Greasy.
Through Greasy grant.
Those are hard to find, it's hard to even find applications for this thing, for Lucy Grant.
I'll ask Craig. 'cause
Yeah.
he's got-
Usually if you just fill out the papaperwork and submit, you usually get them.
Yeah.
Usually it's pretty good
Yeah.
success.
Find out, you
Yeah.
get that paperwork, I'm trying to do once.
Yeah, because I know the MRC
You did.
paid for our sign up there. I say we got like $3 grand or
Where's the
something.
paperwork at? The application.
And they do hire ones.
Or another fire chief.
So coming up, Jack, yesterday.
You guys closed down that playground behind my house. There's playground equipment still in good shape there that
We can look at that, yeah, we can look at
I
that.
mean, we ever gonna think about opening that back up?
I think, you guys gotta go to that. Why was that?
I don't know, we really closed it down?
They had me take the basketball hoops down. I transported them over to Hunky Hill and put them on that playground.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with that playground.
We need-
There was brand new equipment, and everything there. And next thing I know, I got the orders to move it, and we did.
I just know there was people going back there and they were busting things up a little bit. I don't think my daughter used to go back in there. I
Well, we
don't
used to have
know.
a shelter house there.
Yeah, is there anything you think people would use it? I mean, if people want to use it, Mark, I got no problem to try to keep it up. If somebody's going to use it. I just didn't know if
Well,
there's
we have
any kids.
some new residents up there now that actually has kids.
Yeah, because there's not many kids up there.
Yeah, there is not, I mean, like I said, we're starting to get Alamo back with a little bit of kids there. But I was just wondering why we closed it down. If we did, we could maybe use that playground.
Insurance reasons on a few of them. I remember one year, like there was a lot of insurance issues with some of the playgrounds. They talked about shutting a lot of them down.
Yeah,
But
and I can tell you that one up there, like I said, I used to take my daughter back there and try to shoot back. People were going back there and breaking bottles on the court and everything like that. It just was not. And I never saw, to be honest with you, I never saw one kid back there living up there with my daughter. When my daughter was, 6, 7, 8 years old. So I think that's why we took them off there, because we needed to move somewhere else. So, like I said, if we know people want to use these places, I'll do everything in my power to try to maintain them. 'Cause,
If
I
we're
think
gonna
it's
keep
great.
it closed, I'm just saying, let's get the good equipment out, is what I'm
I
saying.
mean, I'd rather have that than go put a pole up so they can just charge their phones on it.
It'd be nice to have the facilities, I mean, just to give the kids a place too. Hopefully they would use it for that purpose, maybe get a pickup game of basketball going on or something like that.
Church Hill gets used all the time.
Yeah, Church Hill's used quite a bit.
We redid that playground.
Up on the hill, we used to have Annunciation, and that's where I grew up. My buddies and I played there from sun up to sundown every day, and then we'd go over to Hill School when they had the court over at Hill School, but now even the school over there doesn't even have any hoops. So it's tough for the neighborhood up there. There's nowhere to, if even kids wanted to play basketball, there's nowhere for them to go.
Except for the park. Except for the park, that's about it.
Well, I mean, people who live in the neighborhood, I mean, if they, yeah, up on the hill.
The traffic's out, the basketball court's cracked, we're trying to see what other things.
Anything else, Jack?
Not under that, Mayor, no. But I got something else, go ahead.
Public pension, anything on public pension?
I did speak to Fred, he had the COVID, but he's feeling much better. And he said that some of the ladies had been calling him and asking him if we were going to be opening up the senior center, and he told them that he didn't feel comfortable because of some of the new cases and everything, that he doubted it. And I said, well, I can't foresee that opening. I said, well, I will bring it up, at the meeting, but not really say that it's not right.
I mean, you did it that one time, see, but then it came back again. And, with senior citizens down there, older people, they don't feel comfortable. Till he goes in the text line. Yeah, I think we can do that here.
That's a lot, I told her it's probably, okay.
That was your senior citizen report. I have to help, I know you can't hear me,
Now
man.
that I'm a senior citizen.
Nothing on BHJ, anything on economic development? Yeah. We can talk to you. Okay, I'll give the audience a couple minutes to speak your piece. State your name and address.
No, you stay out there.
My name is Teresa, I reside at 257 Powell Avenue, I've been here for 5 years. I'm having an indiscrepancy with this water report that's been out. Not too long ago, I applied for a coronavirus benefits through CAC, and I was granted. They paid my back rent, which was $3,450, and also my record. But there was an indiscrepancy with the report. They were not granting me money to reconnect my water bill, because they were saying that the bill wasn't right, that there was payments adjusted off the bill when the bill was turned off, that I was being charged while the bill was turned off, and that it was against EPA regulations. I've been numerously trying to work with the water department to see if I can get a payment arrangement. Mr. Ruffin, when he first took office, he refused the payment arrangements. I was addressed council last year about you guys refusing to pay. Not you guys, but I guess the water department. We addressed that the water department refused a payment from First United Presbyterian Church. You guys are simple. As of right now, they're saying, CAC saying that the bill report is not right. That there's amounts, I can roughly pass around, the two amounts was missing off the bill, roughly $500 was adjusted when the bill was off. I had to contact the Attorney General's office and Auditor's office to look into to see what's going on. I've never received any receipts in the time I've been out here, I said, for 4 years. My water meter's never been read in 4 years. So I was wondering, I don't know what's the problem, there's some issues, but I'm trying to do is get my service back on. Back in late March, early April, before the COVID hit really, really good. I paid the $100, which Mary told me to pay. And from CAC, I was refused the service reconnected, which was the deposit. And I just wanted to know if I could just see what's going on with this, because it's getting outrageous. They're saying I heard roughly, what is this? $1,577, and the rules are saying that the report is not adding up. So So right now, we don't even know how much code, like you were saying, Mr. Fitzgerald, we can't get through the lines to talk to police. The lines, we can't get the lines to talk to Mr. Ruckman. He's refusing me the payment plan, and I don't understand what's going on. I want to ask you about the ordinance we got, because me being a resident for the village almost 5 years, that does about roughly how my water is stored in the COVID-19 situation. I lost my water, I lost my voucher because of this. I sexually voucher for February because they refused to be connected. There's a report, last one is here.
Yeah, you want to pass it around.
Yes, you can make copies. And you can false case, people in that false stories. They were going to pay because I did not restore my water, they refused to pay.
Right.
How we get the water from that high?
It's just me, one person, they try to buy us, it's one, and that's one of them. I've never had no receipts to my bills. And that's another issue that the council, when we come to such a fellow people in the village, we're not getting any receipts.
Well, if you go in and you pay in person, ask for one.
I never got one, she always wrote it on the bill. She never would give me one.
Are you looking for living in this house?
No. I mean, y'all know what living gets to see if everyone, it's just me. My bill was grossly adjusted up. That's what I'm saying, is it personal, it was administrative.
Would you have maybe a week, a quarter?
It was never
week,
big.
or something
It was
like
never big.
that?
It was never big. There's a section that we call inspector, inspected it and seen that there was never big. Also, he was removed from J&J for giving false report. He was fired. He was an inspector, so I lost my house in Metro.
Who owns the house, you?
No, Kenny is.
And Davis
And
owns
we
the
also
house?
found out he hasn't been paying property taxes, so his 95 years also been in Jefferson County, grounds. Mr. Ferguson advised me.
So you are responsible for the water bill?
Yeah, he makes me responsible.
Whatever it is, then it is.
It's in my name, but I found out before I moved into the house, which was in roughly August, between August, September of 2016, that there was an outstanding amount billed on the bill before I moved in, which was $1,000.
When did you move in?
August, between August and September 2016.
And is that $1,000 included in this water?
It was put on my bill, right? Because when it was roughly, when we had it roughly every 3 months, my bill only ran $111. After
On
that,
11/1 of 16, you have a balance of $111 even.
Exactly.
But you were saying in August it was run up, but there's nothing in August on here.
I mean, it's
Just
roughly
FYI.
turned off twice. That's why I'm in anything in order to what's going on. I want this personally administrative. But I'm in a COVID-19 situation. I cannot be in the house, EPA said that I was going. That's the EPA recommendation.
So your water was off before COVID?
They turned off again.
Before COVID.
She turned off, I guess, in March. I don't know when they turned off again. First time they turned off, then again, I believe again, I don't know what's going on.
How long has it been on?
It's been off for a while now. It's for the second time. Where by me being in the closet, Mr. Ruckman refused the payment situation where, like I said, I lost my section eight voucher and everything, and I was able to get funding through CAC because of it. They said it was off. They were turning the time. This is ridiculous. It's dangerous.
I want to make sure. 257 hours.
All right, we'll get together with Wayne, George, tomorrow.
I just want to know why I refused the payment plan. I never asked for
Well,
it. Even said it.
we'll see what they have to say.
Thank you.
And I'll let you know.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Rick, you got anything? We got anything else? Any outstanding business?
Yeah, Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's a copy of the safety enforcement contract. meet them and talk it over. We want you folks to put down your name, highlight it, I don't care what you do, what you want on the contract, what you want out of the contract, and I'd like to have it back on the next meeting. Okay? So if you have something, put it in either sticky or write it in yellow, and get it back in by next meeting if you possibly can. The other safety, the other union doesn't go until what, July? So once we get these started, we'll start another one. This is just a safety enforcement. Thank you, Mayor. You want one of these?
Me? Yeah,
You?
I like that one.
You want one? All right, I'll make 2 more copies.
Well, I got an old one, I mean, I got the current one in my office right now.
You don't have one of these, Bob?
I like that one.
You don't have one of these?
I don't have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else? Give it.
I should have brought up when we was talking about safety in the street. On Sycamore, Randy Cruz lives up there, and I'm getting running around, just this pole. I'm getting told it was township trustees that own that pole, they shut that one off there, and the one up there by Barry Edwards,
Light pole?
light pole. There's, from Josh's house is the last pole lit up, but between that, Josh's house, to the last house on Sycamore, that lights out.
You got to bring it on the rubber jag.
Yeah.
I talked to Jack.
Yeah, just find out, get the number off a pole. What we were doing basically does, I think when they went around and shut them off, is just keep the intersections lit, unless you wanted to keep it on, then you would pay a $7 or $10 fee for a year.
Well, I talked to Jags about, he's supposed to look into it, but I also told Randy it's like $15 that they'll put, not as nice as. I mean,
Yeah, it's not as, yeah.
It's bright up.
It is.
For $15 will go on his bill, so if he said we can't work it out, then he'll probably go that route. But I need to just bring that up.
Is it 15 now?
It used to be
It used to be 10, yeah.
10, 15.
That's Jack, where you probably didn't go kick it back.
All right, good seeing you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? So we'll meet here on, the next date. Yeah.
26.
Today's, 26.
Hey, Mary, we gotta go to the second session about this, what Bobby brought to our attention. We need to make a move on this as quick as possible in case we run into more code and stuff, where our policies actually gonna be.
I think you should take it, really look at it, look at it well, and then next meeting, then you can make a decision, and you'll probably have a much better idea on it.
Yeah.
But anything to do
We'll
with
take a hard look.
Okay.
So I just said, you mentioned the name, but Brandon, you said you had one part-timer in the service department, and one part-timer on the team right now.
I think we have to walk.
You have one part-timer on the team.
She's paused already. So like my guys, if they're on quarantine, they work, they're essential employees. The
Yeah.
only time they're off is if they are positive. Because we're around, I mean, I was around 2 today and I don't know how many yesterday. I mean, we're around COVID every day, all day.
Yeah.
So, we're exposed every day.
We did a lot of work in Canada.
So,
Right, I'm leaving.
they're only off.
All right, we got a motion to adjourn. Go ahead, Sebastian.
Motion to adjourn.
And a second.
Come on, let's get it out. Oh, it's good.
Baker,
Yes.
Rochelle.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Hamlet. Harris.